Hello guys, today I will go over APA style, how to use it in the body of your paper. And APA stands for American Psychological Association. They're the group of people who put this style together. They update it every year. And as I said, everyone who has even college or high school education is more or less familiar with it, briefly. So the basic format is to document the author's last name and year of publication. There are two ways to do it, or more or less one way to do it, but different ways. I'm going to pretend that this is your wording from the paper. In her essay, author argues that, and at the end of sentence, you will give us Smith 2000. So anyone who knows APA knows that Smith is the author of the article, the year of publication is 2000, and if they were to go into a library database with just, this is a good starter information. They will look at Smith. They'll find it in your references page. They will look up the full citation, and that's how they're going to find it if they want to verify something. I do want to mention that if you already mentioned the author's last name in the sentence, you don't actually need to repeat it. So here's the second example. In her essay, Smith argues that we don't want you to repeat anything, you just say 2000. So you have a choice. You can mix and match if you want, just according to what's convenient for you, but that's just for FYI. So sometimes you have a essay where you have more than one author, so you will just acknowledge that. You'll say authors argue that, and then you will say Smith and Jones, year 2000. And that's pretty logical and makes sense and simple to remember. The problems arise when you have, let's say, 29 authors. You may not want to list all 29, so the solution for that is, in their essay, authors argued that, Smith, and then you use Latin ETAL, which stands for and others. And that's, commonly used. So you will just say Smith and others, year 2000. I do want to point out to you that the authors listed are usually, they're not in alphabetical order. They're in actually very specific order. Whoever is the first person mentioned as the author of an article is the person who did the most work, or is getting the most credit. It's under their name, under their reputation. So it's very important that you know who the first person is. Now, this should really cover you for first and second paper. And there are, of course, variations and more specific things that you start looking into, but this should cover 90% of your needs as of right now. In the future, the problems arise when you don't have an author's last name. So if you don't have that, you will use the title. For example, the article I found in Academic Search Complete, the title was Maintaining Mental Health in Times of Coronavirus. So I would just use the title, in parentheses, Maintaining Mental Health in Times of Coronavirus, comma, in year of publication. I'm going to pretend it's 2000. Obviously, it's not, because it was 2020. So maintaining mental health in times of coronavirus, 2020. Now, maintaining mental health in times of coronavirus coronavirus is a slightly long title, so I think it would be acceptable to just shorten it. And what you can do here is maintaining mental health, points of ellipsis, these three dots. I shortened the title. I included these points of ellipsis to indicate that I have in fact shortened the title, and maintaining mental health, year 2020. So even though I'm missing, maybe I'm using a website and I'm missing the title of I'm missing the author's name, but I still have the title. And so in my references page, I will actually use M. I will alphabetize it among authors' names and use M as my point of reference for the alphabetical order. This should not be necessary for you until about like third paper, so I would not worry about it right now if you're just working on your first or second paper. If you do have more questions, I have other links on Blackboard. You can always ask me directly, or you can look up those links, because there are variations, but this is a good intro into it. Take care.